In today's video, I'm going to be doing my unboxing and first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy A26 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. If you guys do want to go ahead and pick up this device or any other devices like this, go ahead and check out Wireless Place. They actually did provide this unit for review, so a huge shout out to them. And if you guys use code TechRight on their website, you can get 2% off their entire store. Now, as far as this device goes, on the Samsung website, this does retail for $299, and that is for the 6GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage variant. Now, there are a few different variants. They do have the base variant of this device, which is 4GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage from what I'm seeing on gsmarena.com. And we have a top variant of 256GB of internal storage all the way up to 8GB of RAM. The variant that I have currently is that one, 8GB of RAM, 256 storage, and we can actually expand the memory via micro SD card, which is great to see because we cannot do that on the Galaxy A56. So that's a big difference between this and the Galaxy A56. Of course, with this device, we have the Exynos 1380 inside of here, 5000 milliamp battery, a 25-watt charging experience, and we of course have that Super AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate at 6.7 inches. Really excited about this. As far as like our operating system, we do have 6 years of major operating system updates and One UI 7.0 with Android 15 out of the box. So great to see that. And as far as like the top video recording we can get on this is going to be 4K at 30 frames per second and 1080p at 30 frames per second. I'm not sure if it has 60. We'll go ahead and verify that when we go into the camera section. And of course, we have our side-mounted fingerprint sensor as opposed to the Galaxy A56 with the in-display fingerprint sensor. So that's a little bit different. We do have some AI features in here like circle to search, so that's great to see. And this does come in a few different colors. I obviously just opted with the black. I thought it looked pretty clean, but it comes in black, white, mint, and peach pink. The other really impressive thing about this phone is we do have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus for our front display, and for our back display as well. It looks like we have a glass back, and we have an IP67 water and dust resistance on this as well, up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and open this up though. Alrighty, so we should have the phone right here on the top. We're gonna go ahead and put this to the side and take a look at what else we have inside of here. So it looks like we have a little box with our inserts. On the back of that box, we have a SIM ejector tool, of course. And inside of that box, we have a quick start guide. We have our safety and warranty information, and we have our USB Type-C to Type-C data cable. No wall charger inside this box, so that of course kind of sucks. Alright y'all, so without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this device. Wow. This is a very, very deep black. I haven't seen this on a lot of devices recently. This looks really good. Also, forgive me for the thunder. California's going crazy today with the thunder and stuff. But it does look like we have a glass back, and we are going to be leaving fingerprints on this. So just a heads up for you guys out there if you want a case on there so you don't have your fingerprints on there. Of course, we have our Samsung logo on the back. We have a triple rear camera setup on the top left side and an LED flash to the right of that. As far as our camera setup though, our main camera is going to be a 50 megapixel wide angle camera. Our secondary is going to be an 8 megapixel ultra wide. And our third is going to be a 2 megapixel macro, again capable of recording at 4K at 30 frames per second. So really excited to see how that looks. On the right side of the device, this is going to be a little bit different than the Galaxy A56. We do have a fingerprint sensor embedded into the power button, so this is going to be how we're going to be unlocking our phone. I actually do like the placement of that. I think it looks really good on the black version of this phone as well. Definitely blends in. Just above that, we have the volume up and down rocker. Top of the phone, we have a noise canceling mic. Left side of the phone, of course, we have our SIM tray, and we can actually expand that via micro SD card. And bottom of the phone, we have another noise canceling mic, a USB Type-C port, and bottom of the phone, we have a couple noise canceling mics. In the middle, we have a USB Type-C port, and to the right of that, we have our speaker. Overall though, this does feel like a very premium build, especially compared to the Galaxy A25. I'd say this feels more premium for sure, especially with that glass back. Also, always great to see Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the Galaxy A26. That's something, especially at like the A20 level, that's something that you don't really see too much at a $300 price tag. So always great to see that. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm going to go ahead and set up this device, but I'll be back in a second. Also, weight of this phone is kind of heavy in comparison to like the Galaxy S25. I don't think it's heavier than the S25, but for some reason it feels very, very heavy. All right, y'all, so we have the Galaxy A26 5G all set up now, and this display looks really, really good, man. And also going through this UI, very, very fluid. Not as fluid as the Galaxy A56, of course, but still that 120 hertz refresh rate is a beauty to behold. Absolutely love this. Also, UI 7.0 looks amazing on this. I absolutely love this update. This is how the drop-down bar menu is looking currently. We, of course, have our auto rotate, airplane mode, flashlight, mobile data. We have some screen recorder, mobile hotspot, quick share, do not disturb. We have our multi-control section right there. If we go down below this, we do have our media output, and of course we have nearby devices, smart things, smart view modes. We do have some Galaxy AI features as well. If you go ahead and hold down this home button, we are going to get the option for circle to search. Beautiful to see it. Love to see that. Nice that we have that feature. Definitely one of my favorite features on these Samsung devices. Also, the bezel at the bottom of this phone is going to look a bit different than the Galaxy A56. This is how the bezel is looking at the bottom of the Galaxy A56 compared to the Galaxy A26. So obviously, looks a bit different, looks a bit thinner. We are going to have that crimson chin at the bottom of this A26. And the other thing is we do have a teardrop notch for the front-facing camera instead of the hole punch notch right here that we have on the Galaxy A56. And for the Galaxy A26's front-facing camera, we do have a 13 megapixel wide-angle camera, so we do have the option for wide angle. We do have 1080p at 30 frames per second. And one other thing I forgot to tell you guys is we do not have a headphone jack inside of here. I'm sure you guys know that already. We did the unboxing or whatever, but there is not going to be a headphone jack anywhere on this phone. Just a little heads up for y'all. Anyways, though, the display looks really good. Super AMOLED display right here. It looks really, really decent. And for that display, as far as our pixel density, we have a 385 ppi. This is going to be the same as the Galaxy A56. We do have always on display for this device as well. Anyway, display looks good, very fluid, 120 hertz refresh rate. We have Android 15 out of the box, as you guys can see, and this is all ran by the Exynos 1380. So we're gonna get into the gaming review and all of that stuff later, but I do want to check out the camera on this device. We're gonna check out the speakers on this device as well, and we're going to check out some video to see how the display looks on this. All right, guys, so going into the camera application right here, we get that wide angle mode. Love to see it. So if you need to fit more stuff inside of that lens, we have our portrait mode, we have our fun mode for like Snapchat filters and Instagram filters. Also over here on our video, we're going to go ahead and check this out. We can do full HD at 60 frames per second. So that is available, and UHD at 30 frames per second. So 4K at 30 frames per second. We also have this little bar right here that gives us our manual settings right here. So it's going to let us change our aspect ratio, turn the flash on. We also have auto framing right here. We have exposure that we can go ahead and manually change right there. And in our more section, we have our pro mode, which you can go ahead and change the white balance, the ISO, all that different type of stuff for all of you camera oriented people out there. We have our pro video, same thing more or less. Night mode, food, panorama, macro, super slow-mo, slow motion, hyperlapse, and single take. So we have some pretty nice stuff inside of here. We also have Bixby Vision. If we go ahead and click this on, this is going to let you do a few more things inside of here, like translate. I just want to go ahead and take a single point and shoot photo real quick and see how this looks. Okay, so not the fastest shutter speed in the game, but let's go ahead and see how this image looks. Okay, so far this looks pretty solid. I've heard some decent things about the Galaxy A26. So we're going to get into this camera later on, but it looks okay so far. Not anything amazing. Definitely has some decent colors, natural colors, good lighting, all that type of stuff. So looks good so far. Let's get into the speakers on this device. Let's take a look at that video as well. All right, guys, so speakers on this device were not great. Or I should say speaker, because we only have one speaker and it's going to be at the bottom of this phone. So if you're looking for a better gaming experience and better audio, obviously the Galaxy A56 is going to have those stereo speakers, so it's going to sound a lot better. This doesn't sound terrible for the price tag, but I have to say I was expecting more out of the speaker. It has a bit of tin, and it is a little quiet, to be quite honest. It's not crazy bad or anything. It's acceptable, I believe, for the price tag, but I was expecting more, and I'm kind of brought down by these speakers, honestly. Next, we're going to be checking out the video with, of course, our Costa Rica 4K 60 frame per second video. This is not going to give us a downscaled UHD video, and we do not have HDR on here like we have on the Galaxy A56. But let's see how this looks on this 120 hertz refresh rate full HD display. Let's take a look. Yeah, so I can't complain. The colors look fantastic. The screen clarity is great. The brightness of this display is pretty decent as well for the price point. And yeah, can't complain at all whatsoever. If you do want the better display though, the Galaxy A56 is definitely going to give you more of those features like HDR and of course that downscaled UHD on those 4K videos. But this is not bad at all. Alright guys, so that was the Galaxy A26 5G. So far, we have some pretty good stuff inside this phone. Of course, there are some drawbacks, like the mono speaker on this device. Sort of a bigger bezel at the bottom of this phone that I don't really like. However, the display looks good. The camera is looking good so far. I'm excited to see how that works. The performance, as far as like going around the UI, looks really decent. Is absolutely better than the Galaxy A15 or A16 or anything in that 18 series. And yeah, so far I don't think it's anything crazy, to be quite honest, but we have some good stuff in here. We have options to expand the memory. We have a full HD 120 hertz Super AMOLED display in here that looks great. We have 6 years of OS updates, Android 15 out of the box with UI 7.0, circle to search. So we have some cool AI features inside of here. I don't think this is too bad of a device so far for $300. However, I think there are probably some better devices out there, especially if you're getting into the used market. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That was my unboxing and first impressions of the Galaxy A26 5G. Let me know what you guys think about this device so far. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. This has been Safan from TechRight. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out, Tech Gang.